coach. I'm ready to play today. Put me in, coach. I'm ready to play today. I am President-elect Jackie Summers, pinch hitting for President Andrew F. today, who's away on some much-deserved time off. Welcome to, that was my walk-up song, by the way, in case you didn't figure that out. Welcome to the Rotary Club of York. It is delightful to be with all of you today on this absolutely perfect day outside at the park, once again ready to embrace America's favorite pastime. Yay for baseball. Let's give it a round of applause. Woo-hoo! Leading us in our opening song, the national anthem, is past President Brian Tate, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and the invocation will be by President-elect nominee Glenn Miller.
Thank you very much, President-elect Jackie. Here's the best words you're going to hear in a long time. Besides welcome to fellow Rotarians, friends, and revolution. Please join me in singing our national anthem. Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hail at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rocket's red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good afternoon. George Will once said that you cannot understand America without understanding baseball. But did you know that baseball even transcends America? In the very first verse of the very first book of the Bible, it clearly says, in the big inning. Oh, Brown, I've waited 35 years as a pastor to be in a microphone in a ballpark to say that line. That's an honor of Jody. With that, let us pray, friends. God of all creation, you bless us abundantly with your good gifts. As we gather in this place especially, we are reminded of the joy of athletics and the proper use of our physical selves which you have created. We are aware of the value of healthy competition, of working together with others toward a common goal. And in the midst of so much of the seriousness and sadness of life, and in the aftermath of the difficult year that is past, we rejoice in the simple gift of being able to come together in community, enjoying a game and renewing our spirits. Be with the athletes who will soon take to the field. Be with the fans who will cheer them on. As we reemerge into our post-pandemic world, keep us mindful of and grateful for life's precious blessings, both simple and profound, and teach us anew to take nothing for granted. Bless now our time together as friends and the food that we have received. In your most holy name we pray. Amen.
Thank you, Glenn. Thank you, Brian. A few announcements. As most of you know, Cal Weary's daughter Ella was in an accident last weekend and is at Hershey Medical Center. Cal provided an update last evening. Ella's still in critical condition, but she's stable, and the sedation meds that they have her on are slowly being backed off. He'd also like to extend his deepest gratitude to the club for all of your prayers, love, well wishes, and he adds that Ella is the best example of Rotary Youth Exchange transformation. We wanted you to know that. We also want to extend congratulations to our very own Ben Ott. Ben works for WBFF Fox 45, and they have just received 38 Emmy nominations. The Emmys will take place in June, and Ben is nominated for 3 awards that he has covered himself, stories that he's done personally. Good job, Ben. May 31st is the deadline to submit applications for the Carol Wagman Nursing, Donna E. Hayes Equine, Non-Traditional Student, and Student Education Chairs scholarships. Please visit the club's website to get more details on those opportunities. The program committee will meet on June 2nd to discuss our weekly programs for July through December. If you have any program ideas, please submit them to past President Mike Summers before that date. Thank you to everyone who has brought tools to donate to Pedal for Peace. And for those of you who were not able to bring any tools in person today, you still can. They will be accepted at the Ballpark box office, so please consider bringing in some of your tools for that donation. The membership committee will meet on June 2nd at 1:30 via Zoom. At this time, it is my great pleasure to once again introduce past President Brian Tate to lead us in a rousing rendition of Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
All right, fans, stand up. Please join me. Let's welcome the York Revolution. Ready in 3, 2, 1. Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack. I don't care if they ever get back, for it's root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame, for it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. Go get 'em, Rams!
And now it is my great pleasure to introduce Eric Menzer, our MC today, who will introduce our panel of speakers. Fellow Rotarian Eric Menzer is in his 11th year as the York Revolution and York Baseball president. Many of you know Eric through all of his Revolution activities, but also from his role as chairman of Better York and his service on a number of other community boards, including Downtown Inc., the York City Parks Conservancy, and the Susquehanna National Heritage Area. Eric also chairs the board of Penvest, the Pennsylvania State Infrastructure Authority. Although Eric has been in York for 33 years, he remains a very strong Terp at heart with a degree from the University of Maryland. Eric lives downtown York with his wonderful wife, Kendall. Fellow Rotarians and guests, please help me welcome Eric Menzer.
Thank you, Jackie. And yes, it is true, I live in downtown York. In fact, I live across the street. I may be the only person who could see his office window from his work-at-home dining room window all through the pandemic. And that is literally true. So, good afternoon and welcome. It is great to see all of you here today at PeoplesBank Park, where after over 600 days, professional baseball will return to downtown York on Friday night. Now, I usually take my few minutes at, yeah, that's worth applause. I usually take my few minutes at this podium, at this meeting, to tout all of the ballpark improvements and fun promotions that we have coming up this season, but today I'm going to do something slightly different. We have both of those things, fun promotions and some ballpark improvements, but today I want to talk for just a minute about the nature of this business enterprise we call the York Revolution.
So how does a small business survive for 600 days without being able to deliver its core product? Well, one way is with a tremendous group of committed owners whose values align perfectly with the four-way test. It's no coincidence that the majority of our ownership group is Rotarians. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and friendships? Will it be beneficial to all concerned? It sounds like a pretty good way to run a community business enterprise. And people talk a lot these days about the importance of buying local, of supporting locally owned businesses. There's no company in York that personifies that better than the Revs. One thing we've all learned in the last year is just how important personal relationships are in how we do business. Truthfully, professional baseball, as much as I love watching us play, was not what I missed most about last summer. What I missed most was hundreds of conversations that I get to have every night with our game employees, our season ticket members, sponsors, 1741 club members, and dozens of people I cross paths with only very occasionally, typically at a Revs game, and we catch up on how our kids are doing, where they are, what's going on in their lives. That's actually what I missed the most. If nothing else, the past year has proven that locally owned, community-based businesses are truly the backbone of a healthy and sustainable local economy. We know that those businesses are the most likely to put people first in a pinch, and we know that those businesses are the most likely to go the extra mile for their employees when faced with adversity. Living that out here at the Revs starts with our principal owner and chairman, Bill Shipley, here at the head table. Not only has he guided us in that fashion for 10 years, but he was the one who had the vision of an expanded circle of community owners invested in the team. In the past 3 years, we've added to that group Julian and Jolene Tolbert, the Kinsley family, Lauren Crow, Dan Waltersdorf, the Stewart family, Bill Hartman, Joe Wagman, Gary Gensler, Bob Stahl, Matt Summer and Becky Sandstead, Mike and Jackie Summers, and within just the past several months, Tony Campisi, Dave Neckley, and Fred Walker and Anthony Moore, partners in Foursquare Development. Our plan is to continue to add to that group with one overarching criteria. We want people who are rock solid in their commitment to York and to the commitment to operating the company in a fashion that puts community and people first, with an unwavering dedication to making sure that PeoplesBank Park is an outstanding community asset for many generations of Yorkers. And finally, part of PeoplesBank Park being an outstanding community asset is having it be the most welcoming place in York. That's a motto and a mission we launched about 4 years ago, and that we work every day to affirmatively incorporate into how we do business. As I told our game employees the other night at orientation, that is not a political statement, that's a human being statement. If there's one thing that would break my heart, it's if someone in this county did not feel like they are welcome or embraced here, whether it's for baseball or anything else. We are far from perfect in that respect, but we will stay at it. We were the first minor league baseball team in America to have our players wear a pride jersey. And yes, I'm sorry to tell you, I got hate emails when we did. We're now just one of a few professional sports teams in America to have racial diversity in our ownership group, and by the way, that group includes another Atlantic League team. Unfortunately, there are people who still think that's just a feel-good thing or politically fashionable, as opposed to a first cracking open of the door to let new folks into the room where decisions get made. We have a ways to go on our most welcoming place mission, but we'll keep at it, and we'll do it not only without apology, but with confidence and conviction. We will not be satisfied until America's pastime is a welcoming and comfortable pastime for everyone in York. Thank you so much for your support for the past 15 months. Thank you so much for your support for the past 15 months. Our sponsors, our seasoned members stuck with us in remarkable fashion, and it's why we're here today better than ever, ready to once again take the field, proudly wearing the York name on our chests. It's about our town, it's our ballpark, it's our team, and it's about way more than just baseball. Thank you. Now, having said that, it's certainly about baseball too, and in that respect, it wouldn't be much of a contest without a league to play in. And I'm very excited to be able to welcome back to the Rotary podium Atlantic League President Rick White. Rick is now in his 7th year as league president, and he's driven the league to new levels of success and national recognition. And his talent has us in a position to grow and achieve new heights as a league that's beyond what most of us could imagine even 5 years ago.
Please welcome back to the Rotary podium here in York, Atlantic League President Rick White.
Well, good afternoon, everybody. Eric, thank you very much. Jackie, Mark, Bill, Brian, good to be with you. And it's very reassuring to see Brian singing not just on Zoom, but in person. I often start these sorts of things by saying to people, it is good to be with you. And those words for me mean so much more now than they could have at any other time that I've been around the Atlantic League, or quite frankly in my adult life. I think we're all happy to get off a computer screen, away from Zoom, and to be with each other. Again, things aren't exactly what we'd like them to be, but we've come a long, long way since we last convened, and I'm really delighted to be here. And again, I'm grateful to the York Revolution for having me along. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about what's gone on over the past year, and of course the elephant in the room is COVID. As you might imagine, the league has spent endless hours with each of its clubs, many individuals, coaches, owners, general managers, players, talking about health and safety. It's really important that we give assurance to our guests, our employees, and our community that this is a safe, welcoming environment. And one of the things I wanted to call out to start today are the individuals who are playing on your York Revolution. Gentlemen, if you'll stand up for just a moment, everyone in the audience, I want to make sure you know that this group of young men is 100% vaccinated. Despite any underlying issues or personal convictions, they've done that as testimony to public safety, and you're welcome here at the ballpark. Guys, thank you so much for what you're doing. In a slightly more individual way, I'd like to call out as someone, the person who ran the league's COVID Health and Wellness Committee actually is the general manager of the York Revolution. And I'd like to invite you all to come to opening day. Now, I'm not going to be able to be with you. I'll talk about that in just a moment. But you're going to see a display quite unlike you've ever seen at the ballpark. Where is Gibby? John, can you just step outside here just to say hello to everyone? I think you're all familiar with John Gibson, general manager. That's perfect. Now, Gibby, as you have your hat off, could you just spin one more time for the group? You'll notice this wonderful COVID-inspired mullet that Mr. Gibson has decided to be shorn of prior to the first game this week. So, Gibby, good for you. Thank you so much for all you do. And again, if anybody wants to take up a raffle for a charitable foundation, Gibby's the guy to talk to. But we have spent, as I've said, a lot of time on health and safety. And you know, we take a lot of our cues from Major League Baseball in terms of what we do every single day. We think that's not only aspirational, but we think it's good strategic judgment. But this is one of those places where the league decided to do something a little different than Major League Baseball. For those of you who follow the game more closely, you know that Major League Baseball, for reasons outside of the institution's control, have agreed that they will not create mandatory testing for its players. Now, we did effectively the same thing, but we held ourselves to a different standard than Major League Baseball. And what we've said universally is that all of our uniformed and front office personnel are expected to be vaccinated to a 100% level. Now, expectation is not a demand, but we've done truly remarkable things, and again, I'm going to congratulate the players and Mark for his leadership on that front. But you will be interested to note that where Major League Baseball says they will create a standard, the top line of which is 85% vaccinations, we decided we'd lead and not follow. And we've set the bar at 90% because we think it's the right thing to do as opposed to settling at 85%. So I want to make sure you're aware of that, and that's something that we are not only going to exceed, but we have every expectation that we will continue as a standard throughout the season. Right now, every team save one is above 90%. And that's pretty interesting when you have an 8-team league. So we're really happy about where we're headed. Since I last saw you personally, whether on a computer screen or in person, a couple of things have happened I think you'll be very interested to know about. First and foremost, because of our hard work as a league with Major League Baseball, we were invited to become the very first formally recognized professional partner league. Now that is without precedent. That is something that when you became involved with the Reds may not have even impacted the way you felt about the club. But as a league that grew up outside of the formal structure of major and minor league baseball, this was an incredible accomplishment that we underwent last fall, and we're remarkably proud about that. That formal recognition validates all of the hard work the Reds have done over their existence, and the hard work that goes on with our clubs every single day. As a point of our relationship with Major League Baseball, probably 18, maybe 19 months prior to them announcing it, we were actively involved with them as they looked to realign, reorganize, and completely restructure their minor league system. As most of you know, they took about 25% of what was then called affiliated minor league baseball, and they eliminated it. And they did so because of the leadership, in part, of the Atlantic League. They asked us to review our operating pro formas to make sure that if teams were let go from the affiliated system, they could survive and prosper as, at the time, independent professional baseball leagues or independent professional baseball clubs. I'm happy to tell you we were persuasive. I'm also happy to tell you that because we had that front row seat, we insulated ourselves from what happened next. As Major League Baseball was announcing this immense reorganization of the professional baseball landscape, we had the assurance from them that if there was a market in our operating territory in which we had interest, we could invite those folks into our league, and we would do so with the support and financial backing of Major League Baseball. We were successful at that. Now, on one hand, we lost two of our standard-bearing clubs, the Somerset Patriots and the Sugar Land Skeeters. Think about that. They came to a one-time Maverick Rogue League, the Atlantic League, and they said, we'd like you to be an affiliate. What a remarkable thing. What a great level set in terms of how we're viewed by the professional baseball community, especially the leaders in that industry. At the same time, they gave us the opportunity to invite enhancing clubs to our league. So this year we're going to have the Lexington Legends and the West Virginia Power added to our rotation of 8 clubs. In addition, we will be welcoming the Gastonia Honey Hunters to our fold, and in fact, as soon as I get done today, I'm going to start driving down to North Carolina. They play the first game in the season tomorrow night, and I can't wait to get there in a ballpark built to Atlantic League specifications. A wonderful, wonderful expansion opportunity. As well, though, I'd like to put you on alert. We will move from 8 teams this year to 10 teams next year. And the year after that, in 2023, we expect 2 more to where we become a 12-team league. So we are expanding hand in hand with Major League Baseball. We're recognized formally as a professional partner league, and we continue to do things that no one else would think of, and we lead by example and by initiative. We don't follow. In that vein, we have 3 test rules this year, one of which you're very familiar with, two of which are pretty easy to understand. 2 of these we'll start the year with, and then we'll have one at the second part of the year. The 2 that we're starting with will be a continuation of automated balls and strikes, The very first game ever played professionally using automated balls and strikes was right here at PeoplesBank Park at the All-Star Game in 2019. After that, we implemented the system league-wide. I'm happy to tell you that the earpiece that was used at that very first regulation game by our home plate umpire is now residing in the Hall of Fame, one of 3 artifacts over the last 2 years that have been adopted by the Hall of Fame for their permanent collection. Moreover, though, the chances of ABS reaching the big leagues are profoundly good. Major League Baseball extended ABS into the Arizona Fall League, and this year they've also extended it into a new PDL league. They have received the authority from the Major League Baseball Umpires Association that they will use automated balls and strikes when implemented, and I'd be very surprised if in a couple of seasons from now when we're standing here, we don't talk about, look at this, it's now in Major League Baseball. We already have evidence that what we do pioneers great change on the field of play. Our intentional base on balls rule, our extra inning tiebreak rule, our 3-batter minimum rule are all now features of the Major League game. Think about that. Those were in the Atlantic League, in one case 3 years ago, and in every other case 2 years ago, with a year off in between. We have a profound impact on the direction the game is heading. And you're looking at something here that isn't necessarily a laboratory, but it is foretelling the future of the game. And it's something we're incredibly proud of. And because of that, we can do things with and for our players and our Major League Baseball partners that have never been done with any league before. The second rule that we'll see this year is going to be called a double hook DH rule. That means when the starting pitcher is removed from the game, the team who he's playing for loses their designated hitter for the remainder of the game. The chances of that going somewhere are actually quite good. It adds a strategic element to the game. Poor Mace is trying to figure out the double shift moves he's going to make, who's going to start, who he's going to replace him with, and how he's going to adjust his batting order. But at the same time, it gives an incentive for pitchers to excel, and it continues to feature a designated hitter, which in the American League, as you know, has become quite a feature. And then finally, in the second half of the season, which will begin in August, we will be moving the pitching rubber 12 inches further away from home plate. Now, despite what you read, despite the hyperbole, you can all kind of figure out what this might mean for yourselves. And all you have to do is this. That's 12 inches. And we know, because of the science behind that move, that while it's going to give hitters an extra look at the ball, it's not going to do anything that will create an untoward kinetic balance for pitchers. So it's safe, and it's going to be a very interesting experiment to see how that all plays out. I should add, when it comes to any of these experiments, they are not ours. We might all share an opinion with Major League Baseball, but it's their jurisdiction and it's their standard that we follow. So our role here is to execute, not to give them any sort of opinion unless asked. And of course, some of our league give them plenty of opinions, whether they're asked or not. Finally, I want to talk about one other thing that's quite remarkable. I made these notes this morning. I was up pretty late last night, and one of the things I was doing was signing a letter of agreement that governs our transfers between our clubs, our players, and Major League Baseball. And so I wrote down this morning the number 28. I literally, as I walked out of the clubhouse today to have lunch, was on the phone, and that number is 29. Ladies and gentlemen, we have not played a game in 2021, or at least a game that counts. And already, as testimony to Mark and his colleagues throughout the league, who select and put together our teams, 29 players have been tapped on the shoulder and asked to join Major League Baseball organizations. That is just great testimony to the skill set of these gentlemen sitting behind you, That is great testimony to the ability of people like Mark Mason who populate our league. And again, we think it's one of the real sources of pride for a league that defines itself as a second chance league. That's why our players come out to the game every night, play hard, play to win, and play to excel. They all want to take that next step of their chapter, or that next step in the chapters of their careers. So that's my messaging here tonight. That's all happened since we last got together. I recall very vividly where I was when we got together, and I'm sure you all do too, and the one thing we had in common was a computer screen. Thank goodness we can be here in the sunshine, and we can be celebrating our great game. Thanks so much, everybody.
Thank you, Rick, and we do have this time so we can take some questions at the end. But one of the features that a lot of who I know look forward to every year is the opportunity to meet in person, individually, your York Revolution team. And so I'm actually going to invite you to turn your backs on me because, of course, the team, I will also say this, our players are not being antisocial. We had them sit together at the back out of an abundance of caution because we are working very, very hard to make sure that those players remain healthy and available to play baseball every night. And to introduce that team, we're going to bring back the dean at this point of Atlantic League managers. Mark Mason is the longest tenured manager in the league, and that's because he's a winner both on the field and off. Now, you all see him on the field, but what you don't see is thousands of hours of work behind the scenes building a baseball team, arranging bus trips and hotels, worrying about player health and budgets, and, of course, making sure the players wear the right hat on any given night. Mark enters his and that's actually not a joke. Mark enters his 8th actual season as manager this year, which was preceded by 3 years as our pitching coach. Way back in 2019, Mark led us to the second best overall record in the league and yet another playoff appearance. I know he's aiming to do it again. Please welcome Revs manager Mark Mason.
Thank you, Eric. That was a very nice introduction, and it's great to be back. It's been a long time. I want to thank Bill and Rick, the Rotary Club of York. It's always a pleasure to get up here and get to speak, and this year, more than ever, it gives me great pleasure to be able to introduce our team after 19 months come this Friday of not being able to play on the field. So it gives me great pleasure to actually start in with my staff, which I believe is the best staff in the Atlantic League or any league. So I would like to start off, introduce, if you'd please stand up, Inoel Polanco. Polo came here as a player in 2010, then became a coach in 2010, and in my opinion, the best hitting coach in the league, the best third base coach in the league, and a great friend and a great help with all of our Latin players that we bring here to York on a yearly basis. So what he has done here has been extraordinary, and I really couldn't have done some of the things without him. Polo, thank you very much. Thank you. My next coach on the staff, Sandy De Leon. I don't think Sandy needs much of an introduction here either. Sandy's known for a lot of 1 out, 2 out when he was a catcher here with us, and he has also been a great help with my pitching staffs, bullpen, catching bullpens, jumping in wherever we need him, working with my catchers, and it's a pleasure and a privilege to have Sandy back. So Sandy, thank you as well. Thank you. Now this year we do have, excuse me while I get my hair out of my face here. Anyways, we do have a lot of new faces this year, not only on our baseball roster, but also on my staff. So after several years, Charles Choi, who did a great job for us as athletic trainer, is being replaced by Megan Haas. Megan, this is her first year. She has been very, very good so far through spring training. And this year of all years for an athletic trainer with COVID protocols and everything, this is a lot of extra work for all of us, and I really appreciate everything that she's done so far, and I'm sure she'll continue to do a great job. Megan, thank you. Thank you so much. And way down at the end of the pavilion area, we have a new clubhouse manager this year, TJ Solberg. TJ has done actually you could almost eat off our floor in the clubhouse, which I've never seen it like that in my 12 years here. So far, TJ has done a really great job, and this is maybe the toughest job in the league, is to be a clubhouse manager. You have to do all the laundry, you have to feed the players, you have to clean the clubhouse, you have to pack a lot of things, you have to run a lot of errands. So everything that clubhouse managers do sometimes gets overlooked, but I don't overlook it. I know how important it is. So TJ, thank you, and we look forward to a good year with you as well. And now I'll mention three people that I know are not here, but one is our lead orthopedic surgeon, Dr. John Deitch. John has done a great job with our players over the years since we've had our agreement with WellSpan, and probably one of the, if not the best orthopedic surgeons that I know, and very knowledgeable, and is really great with working with our players and our staff. So we appreciate everything that John does as well. And the last two names here, I think everybody's familiar with. Daryl Henry. What can we say about Daryl? Daryl and I have a lot of fun. We do a daily show before our games, and his sidekick this year will be Ray Jensen. Ray will be back again for another year. So some of the best shows actually are what you don't hear on the radio, to be honest. And maybe someday Daryl will be kind enough to let some of those out for for people to hear, but I think that would probably happen when I'm no longer around. So, but anyways, we have a lot of discussions, a lot of them usually about umpiring and things like that never make the air. But anyways, we do laugh a lot, and it's a great staff, and the front office staff here, the ownership here, has treated me tremendously over my time here, and I really love living in York. I live here year round. I live in Dallastown now, so which is kind of odd being from Pittsburgh to live in a place called Dallas, but my friends have forgiven me, and so have my family to this point. So anyways, without further ado, what I would like to do at this point, I'm going to introduce my ball players, but we're going to do it a little different this year. I'm just not going to do a roll call of names. When I call your name, and I know we didn't rehearse this, guys, but when I call your name, please stand up until I'm done, lying about you or whatever. No, I'm just kidding. Until I'm giving a little information about each of you. So, without further ado, we will start right now, and this will be in alphabetical order if it helps the players. Okay? So, first, right-handed pitcher Bruce Bell. Bruce is originally from Louisville, Kentucky. He pitched a perfect game in college at the University of Pikeville. He's already pitched a complete game in the Professional Empire League in 2020, and he's in his third professional year as a professional baseball player. So, Bruce Bell, everybody, thank you. Next, catcher, Carlos Castro. Carlos, born in the Dominican Republic, signed with the Atlanta Braves in 2011, was an organizational all-star in 2016, threw out 35% of base runners while he was in the Brave system, and that's not a low number, believe me, for throwing out runners. A .305 average, batting average in 2 seasons with the Evansville Otters, which is in one of the other professional independent leagues, the Frontier League. So, Carlos, welcome to York. Both of those guys are new to our team in York this year. Outfielder Rashad Crawford from Atlanta, Georgia. Richard was a 11th round selection by the Chicago Cubs in 2012, traded to the New York Yankees in 2016 as part of the deal for Aroldis Chapman, and if you follow the Yankees at all, I don't have to explain who that is. And Richard has had 3 seasons of 20 or more stolen bases during his professional career. Richard, welcome to York as well. Right-handed pitcher Israel Cruz. Israel just joined us recently, one of the later signings that I had since we've come to camp. From Maracay, Venezuela, signed by the Texas Rangers in 2014. It was an international free agent. He also pitched in the San Francisco Giants organization for a couple years, and then sent away on part of an off-season deal for starter Matt Moore of the Texas Rangers. So that happened in December of 2017. So welcome to York as well. The next player, if you come to our games, you'll know who this is, I'm pretty sure. Outfielder Wellington Dotel. Wellington, born in the Dominican Republic, resides in Eugene, Oregon. He'll be back for his 3rd season here with us in York. Pretty much a perennial all-star player in this league. He's in the Revs career history as 7th in outfield assists with 14, 5th in stolen bases coming into this year with 53, and tied for 4th in triples with 11. So, Doty, great to have you back as always. Infielder Carlos Franco. Frankie, born in the Dominican Republic, resides in Salem, Massachusetts. Came here in June of 2019, and then after he came here, he didn't do too much. He only hit .424 in the month of June, which was a single team record for us for any month for any hitter. And he also spent his first 10 pro seasons in the Atlanta Braves organization. So, Frankie, good to have you back. The next player is new to York as well, as far as being on our roster, but he's not new to somebody that came here and could give us a pretty rough time when he was on another team. Left-handed pitcher Brandon Fry. Brandon, you're way ahead of me. Hey, alphabetical, I get it. I know. Hey, Brandon, born in Canton, Ohio. He lives in New Britain, Connecticut, which is where he played against us. Was a former 18th round pick by the San Diego Padres in 2013. In 2019 with the Bees, he was 1-1 with a 3.3 ERA, 33 strikeouts, and he was pretty much a workhorse and somebody that I hated to see come in the game. So, Brandon, great to have you here with us. The next player also is a teammate of Brandon's in New Britain. You're starting to get there's a pattern here on certain players that we had a hard time with. So my philosophy has always been, if you can't beat them, sign them. So that's kind of what we're doing here. Jim Fuller. Jim was left-handed pitcher. He's born in Brighton, Massachusetts, lives in Underhill Center, Vermont. He was actually named the best closer for this league in 2019, and he had 25 saves in 2019 as well. So he was voted the end of the year closer for the Atlantic League. So it never hurts to sign players like that. That'll help the cause tremendously. So, Jim, welcome to York as well. Now, the next player is also new to York, and actually somebody that I got to manage back in September of 2020. I helped the Empire League do a 4-team showcase. Basically, we had a little short season, and catcher Tyler Hill. Tyler from Lancaster, Ohio, went to Fairmont State University, hit .325 with 28 RBIs in 47 games in the Empire League, and somebody that I actually can say I had never seen before September of 2020, and impressed me with leadership when you're amongst a bunch of players that you really don't know, and so when certain guys stand out, and what I saw from Tyler, I thought he deserved an opportunity to come here and show everybody what he can do. So, Tyler, great to have you here as well. Now, another fan favorite. This is another guy that really needs no introduction. Outfielder Melky Mesa. Melky from the Dominican Republic. This will be his third season in York as well. Named Daddy Shark. You remember how to do that? You remember that? Yeah. The fans did it. They loved it. Not quite as impressive as your floss that you used to do a couple of years ago in the dugout, but mine was better, actually. Mine was. A two-time All-Star, Revs Player of the Year in 2018, and just the second player in Revs history with 20 home runs or more in back-to-back seasons. Only him and Chris Nowak were the only two Revs players to ever do that. So, Mickey, great to have you back. Thank you. Next, left-handed pitcher, Austin Nicely. Austin was here for maybe one start in 2019 and came really late at the end of the year. Austin from Groats, Virginia, 10th round pick by the Astros in 2013. Made his start here in 2019, struck out 3 batters in 4 innings, and along with Carlos Castro, they were also teammates, and Jake Welch as well, who's also here on the roster this year. All 3 of those guys were teammates together in Evansville. So, Austin, nice to have you back. The next player is not here physically, but he will be here tomorrow. He's from the Dominican Republic. His name is Edward Paredes. Ed was a left-handed reliever here in York and made it all the way to the big leagues from here with the Los Angeles Dodgers. His debut in June of 2017. So another one of our players that came from our association and made it all the way to the big league. So Eddie will be here tomorrow, and we're absolutely glad to have him back as well. Next, right-handed pitcher Eduardo Rivera. Eduardo, born in the Dominican, resides in Virginia. Somebody that I actually got to watch pitch at a tryout camp here about 3 or 4 weeks ago when it was about 40 degrees and he was still throwing well over 90 miles an hour. So anytime I see 90 plus at a tryout camp, I'm going to take a look. But besides that, Eduardo has had 7 years in the minor league system with the New York Yankees before signing with us. So, Eduardo, welcome to York. Next player, right-handed pitcher Alberto Rodriguez from Cuba, lives in Tampa, 18th round pick of the Kansas City Royals in 2014. We've seen him pitch before too, but not on our squad, but against us. He was in this league previously with Sugarland and the Road Warriors, and I have to say, of all my pitchers this year, Alberto probably sent me the most video where we got to go back and forth and talk about a lot of things that I really appreciate. So thank you, Al. Thank you very much. Next infielder, also new to York, infielder Nelly Rodriguez from New York, New York. 15th round pick by the Cleveland Indians in 2012. 127 home runs in his minor league career and 3 years with 85 or more runs batted in. So, we really appreciate having Nelly here, and in our ballpark, the way the ball flies, I think Nelly should have a fun year here as well. So, Nelly, thank you. Great for having you. A new signing recently, and you're seeing a pattern here as well. I think I only have 6 players here that were with the 2019 club, to be honest. 3 position and 3 pitchers, I believe. So, right-handed pitcher Bubby Rossman. Just Bubby is new to the team within the past week. From California, drafted by the Dodgers in the 22nd round in 2014. Pitched in the Dodgers organization for 3 seasons. Then he went off to the American Association and the Can-Am Association. And Bobby, here's something I really didn't know, but somebody shared this with me, that your father, Charlie, is an Academy Award-winning actor. That's correct, right? Yeah, wow, that's incredible. That's the first time I've ever had to say that about any of my players. So, congratulations. So, anyways, Bobby Rossman, we appreciate him being here as well. Thank you. And now our opening day starter, which will be Friday night, new to the team as well, Alex Sanabia. Alex, born in San Diego, California, currently lives in Jupiter, Florida. 32nd round pick by the Marlins in 06. Made his major league debut in June of 2010 at 21 years old. So that's pretty incredible. 86 strikeouts during his 28 major league games. So, Alex, great to have you. Great to have you. And now another player that doesn't need an introduction. If you followed the Lancaster Barnstormers for a while, and this guy was a pain, to be honest. Outfielder Darian Sanford. Darian, born in St. Louis, 47th round pick of the Kansas City Royals in 2010. Played for the Barnstormers 27, 18, and 19. A walk to this guy is an automatic triple. You do everything you can to keep him off the bases. Back-to-back red, white, and blue all-defensive team selection in our league. 201 career stolen bases in the Atlantic League alone. So that's fifth in league history, and we're hoping that we can at least get you 100 more this year, Darian. So appreciate you being here. Thank you. That's another one of the guys that when you have a meeting with your pitchers, you always tell them you have to keep him off the base, and you have a great chance to win the game, but on the base it's pretty big distraction. So I don't know, that's usually maybe the third or fourth one already today, right? All right, I think we're good now. Next, he's back again with us, one of the tallest pitchers in the league for sure, Austin Steinfurt. Austin is from Holland, Michigan. He was with us in 2019 in the Freedom Division Series. Now, this was in the playoffs. He retired 10 consecutive batters, most by any reliever that we used in our postseason history. And thankfully we've been in the postseason pretty regularly around here, so that's a feat in itself. 6'9", was tied with Andrew Carver, who played here with us, and Mark Hendrickson, who everybody would remember played here as well, as the tallest Revs in the history of our organization. So you are standing, right, Austin? You stand? Okay, got it. Thank you. Thank you. All right, our next player is infielder Justin Twine. Justin is new to our team as well. Fall City, Texas. Second round draft pick by the Miami Marlins in 2014. 6 seasons in their minor league system with a career .984 fielding percentage at second base. So we're very excited to have Justin here as well. I've watched him take some batting practice. He has a little power too. So I think we have a team. Most of our guys can hit the ball out of here. So it should be another fun year. Plus we can run as well. Infielder. All right, I was going to screw up right there. Wait, let me get my glasses right. Okay, here we go. All right, right-handed pitcher, not infielder. Right-handed pitcher Alex Vargas, who, it wouldn't be a total lie, was actually an infielder at one time, right, Alex? Is now here. He's from Freeport, New York. Went to Quinnipiac University. Was a shortstop and then converted to a pitcher. Has not allowed an earned run in his first 10 professional appearances in 2017. This is another guy, when he throws a ball, it's 90-some plus, and we're looking forward to using him here as well. So welcome aboard, Alex. Thank you. Infielder Chris Vasquez. Chris from Orlando, Florida, was a standout at the University of South Carolina, Beaufort. Career batting average .317. Can play 3 infield positions, second, third, and short. So, Chris, welcome aboard as well. Thank you. Next infielder, Josh Vitters. Josh, born in Anaheim, California, lives in Orange County, California, selected third overall. That would be third in the first round by the Chicago Cubs in '07. Made it all the way to the big leagues in 2012 at 22 years old. Played in the Atlantic League in 2016 with the Bridgeport Bluefish, and we're very excited to have Josh here as well. So he can play multiple positions in the infield as well. So thank you, Josh. Thank you. Right-handed starting pitcher, Duke Von Sharman. Everybody remember Duke from 2019. Duke from Edmond, Oklahoma, 15th round selection by the Los Angeles Dodgers in 2012. Came here in May of 2019 and set a club record. This is no small feat right here. 42 innings without a walk. Considering the umpire in this league, that is so amazing. Absolutely incredible. That might be the greatest streak of all time, Duke. 42 no walks with the umpire in here. Thank God for TrackMan. Anyways, one of two players of my pitchers in 2019 with 10 wins. So, Duke, welcome back. He'll start on Saturday night here for us. And last but not least, Jake, I apologize alphabetically. It's kind of tough. We know how it is. Jake Welch, right-handed pitcher. Jake will be in our starting rotation this year from Spencerport, New York. He was here in September of 2019, came from Evansville. In his first start, he took a shutout into the fifth inning against the Long Island Ducks, who I know is one of his favorite teams to pitch against, and my favorite team to beat in this league. No offense to the Lancaster rivalry, but it's a little more fun to beat Long Island. Considering we've beaten them 2 times in the championship, that was actually even better yet. So, anyways, he shut out into the fifth and 1 run on 4 hits with 8 strikeouts in 6 in the third inning. So, Jake, thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. My team, your team, New York Revolution. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Mason. I don't know if you guys noticed this, but what more of a York moment could we have during that tracked vehicles from BAE Systems go rolling on behind us, and circling overhead most of the time was our resident bald eagle. You probably couldn't see that if you were under the tents, but we've had the eagle circling the field most of the time, so what a great moment. Do we have time for just 1 or 2 questions? We have time for just 1 or 2 questions. If somebody has something really profound to ask that's going to elicit some insightful information, who wants to take that risk? Any takers? No, yeah. Oh, very good question. Did we cut the top off the wall? That was the best April Fool joke we've done yet. We got more reaction and more media attention, including the poor souls from WGAL who were back there filming before they read the date on the press release. So, yes, the Cadorus Eels live. So let me just say this in closing. So Rick and Mark will be here for a second after the meeting if you have something you want to talk to them about in person. Just 2 things that I want to promote. First of all, on behalf of Rob Bowen, we will be back. Rotary will be back here on July 29th in the picnic area. We are bringing back the Rotary Fellowship event at the York Revolution that night, so be watching for information, but save the date, July 29th. And last but not least, I would not be doing my job if I didn't point out to you that the First Capital Federal Credit Union team store is open. So right down here at the end of the concourse, there's all kinds of new merchandise, including all of the player gear which we have for sale this year. So if you want to be ready for this weekend for Revs baseball, make sure to stop in the team store. Thank you all again so much for being here.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was inspiring. I don't know about you, but I am more than ready for pro ball. This is going to be a great season. We're really excited and looking forward to seeing some great baseball. And thank you, players. We're looking forward to seeing all of you out there too. Good luck. Good luck. I hope it's a really great season. Eric has been kind enough to sign the book plate on the book, An Elephant and Piggy Biggie by Mo Willems, that will be presented to the YWCA of Hanover. Next week, we're going to be back at the Country Club of York, and the program will be by local historians and authors Scott Mingus and Jim McClure, who will share stories with us of the Civil War of York County. So, Rotarians and guests, thank you again for being here. Oh, one more thing before I go, I'd be remiss if I didn't say, if you haven't said hello, please make sure you seek out our beloved Bert Oberdick, who's with us today, a great baseball fan. Thanks, Bert, for being here. We'll see you all next time. I hope you have a great rest of your week and a wonderful Memorial Day holiday.